Kurdish women warriors roll into their recaptured city. A victory won just days ago against the most barbaric enemy in the world. ISIS is in retreat here, beaten by their most feared opponents. What is it like to drive through a town like Tel Hamis and know that you have liberated it from ISIS?
As
a town and as a symbol, Tel Hamis is very important to us. It's a very big victory. It shows everyone, everywhere, we are the wall between the world and this enemy.
On front lines across northern Syria, the battle rages on. The distant smoke of a coalition airstrike marks an ISIS heavy gun taken out moments before. The female fighters of the YPJ and their male compatriots of the YPG have just pushed ISIS back across this canal, a vital defensive barrier, and they'll hold it at all costs.
We can see people moving in that village, and that is why we are shooting. We will do everything to push them back.
The YPJ, or People's Protection Units, are cleaning ISIS out of their Kurdish homeland, by day and by night. Street by street, house by house. In many ways, this is a far different war to the one I covered here 6 months ago. The battle is just as fierce, but now the momentum seems to be on the Kurd side. They've forged an 80-kilometre front line here just in this northern part of Syria, and just in the last 4 weeks they've recaptured 2 cities, 400 towns, and taken back nearly 2,500 square kilometres. Last September, this town, Rabia, was an intense front line. ISIS was within 200 metres, threatening to overrun us. Is there any chance that ISIS could break through to here? A month after we were here, ISIS was pushed back over the horizon. Now their nearest position is over 100 kilometres away. So the green and yellow is YPJ and the purple is ISIS. When I last met YPJ Commander Nizrin, ISIS was at the peak of its military power in Syria. Now she shows me how the tide has turned in 6 months. With the help of coalition airstrikes, the Kurdish forces in Syria have retaken the major cities of Tel Hamas, Tel Tamar, Tel Barak and Kobani on the Turkish border. There have been victories and losses against ISIS in neighbouring Iraq, but right now it's Syria where this war is being won.
We have broken ISIS and pushed them back, but they are trying to regain control by staging attacks against us, mainly from the south.
The tenacity of the female fighters and commanders like Nizrin has become legendary. We're overlooking an ISIS-held village and they've just spotted an enemy vehicle on the move below. Why are you shooting at this point? What have you seen?
Because now the ice is not far away from us, and because we now see them and see them cars, we are shooting them.
ISIS fighters are racing for the cover of the village. Very fast, yes. The firing is intense and with good reason. Just 2 weeks ago, ISIS fighters from that position made it over the walls of this outpost. Are they trying to move between villages? Are they trying to take over more villages?
They are trying to not just moving between the villages, and also to control another region which we are now controlling.
Now ISIS is training its big guns on us.
Putting them cars with the doshkas to the town against us. They are preparing themselves to shooting us.
You can see them preparing to shoot at us now.
We are ready to sacrifice ourselves to save the humanity, to protect the society, the civilization here.
What do you think ISIS thinks of the YPJ?
They don't distinguish between anyone. They kill everybody, kidnap everybody, gut head of everybody. They are far away from the humanity, especially for the women.
The victory against ISIS here at Tel Tamr was a great one, but so was the human cost. Just a few days ago, another 8 fighters from Nizrin's unit were killed here.
4 martyrs of the 8 were women.
4 men, 4 women, equal in life and equal in death.
Exactly. That's our reality here.
At this hospital in Rojava, a final journey begins for those 8 brave young men and women. How many friends have you lost?
In Kobani, Afrin, Jezish, and all the other towns and cities, we've lost hundreds of friends, and it's so painful. To live in freedom means we have to pay this price, but it is so painful.
The cemetery is so much larger than when I was last here. Fresh graves quickly filling up the space. But some of the fighters have been lucky, like Gulbahar, terribly injured when I visited her last year, doctors unsure whether she'd make it. Her recovery is painfully slow, but Gulbahar has only one wish, to return to the fight that nearly killed her. When I first met you, when you were in hospital, you told me that you wanted to fight again. You wanted to get better so you could fight.
Yes, my friends have stopped me for now. But when I am better, I want to go back to fighting again.
So not once have you thought twice about going back?
No, none of us would. As a fighter, all we think of is to go on, to get back to the front line.
Clearly, ISIS is a murderous enemy intent on wiping out all who stand in its way. But the vengeance of ISIS can also be seen in the destruction it wreaks in the cities and towns where it's lost the battle. The devastation here in Tel Hamas bears witness not only to the ferocious street-to-street fighting that happened here, but also the deliberate intention by the terrorist group to annihilate everything most cherished by the local people. The more ancient, the more sacred, the more likely it is to be a target. And nothing is off limits. In city after city, churches are ruined, mosques have been bombed. The scale of hatred evident in this wasteland of destruction. When you see such willful destruction, does that wound the spirit of the community? Does it hurt the soul of the nation?
Yeah, of course. This behavior from the side of the ISIS makes the people more wild to fighting them. We will stay to fighting them.
And this is what the YPJ is fighting to protect. Its people and their right to exist in thriving cities like Qamishli, where ISIS has not yet managed to take hold. Tel Tamr was once such a city. Now it's a ghost town. Sniper? Sniper? Recently liberated from ISIS, but still far from safe.
This is a very dangerous point of the city. You can hear the sound of the weapons.
So what we just heard then, that's ISIS?
Yes, they are ISIS, and they are so close from here.
Suddenly, Commander Nizran's unit spots another ISIS fighter, closer still, and running between buildings. We're told we must go. It's now too dangerous to stay. From our rooftop vantage point to another part of town, Commander Nizran shows me yet another ISIS position, which they're pounding with the dushka. So ISIS is there and there. It's the same along much of the Kurds' 80-kilometre front line. After defeating the enemy here, they're defending their wins with everything they have. Has there been anything that you've learned about your enemy, anything about ISIS? Do you respect them any more than you did last time we met? Do you hate them any more?
I can tell you I have no respect for this enemy. They kill children, they kill young women, they kill young men. They are here to destroy everyone and everything. All we should focus on is finishing them.
It seems if anyone can clean the world of ISIS, it's these young fighters. Such is their determination. They are fearless, unrelenting, and heartened by their recent victory here, incredibly proud. Congratulations. Well done. Congratulations. I farewell these women, just girls really, as the sun sets on another year in the Kurdish calendar. Tonight, they'll return to the front line while their community celebrates the incoming new year, a year they hope will finally deliver a hard-fought peace.
Judy, are you not tired? Are you not tired of this war?
No. No. We don't allow that blood of our martyrs be wasted. We should to follow their way. We should to gain victory against this group. Even if this war stay more than 10 years, we are ready to fighting them.
ISIS is renowned for recruiting foreigners to its terrorist ranks, but the horror of ISIS has also attracted foreign fighters to join the Kurdish struggle, including Australian Ashley Johnston, who went by the Kurdish name Bagok Serhad.
Hello, my name is Bagok Serhad.
Ashley Johnston was killed 6 weeks ago fighting ISIS.
Thank you.
He was mourned by thousands in Rojava and is considered a national hero here.
Thousands of our people tried to touch his body because for us, he was a holy body. He is our hero. He is our Australian hero.
For Judy, Ashley was also a close friend. So why did Ashley Johnston believe this was his fight?
I just asked him, you live in an area, it's far from a war, you live a good life and everything is okay for you. Why you are coming to this area? He told me he was believe in our fighting against ISIS.
And how did you react when you heard he was killed?
I can say until now I feel sad because he was very dear friends and close to me.
When we returned this time round, the women of the YPJ were, extraordinarily welcoming. They were really, really grateful for our original story because they felt they were no longer being ignored by the world. To visit the YPJ in Kurdish Syria is in some ways a good news story because they are doing very well. They're pushing ISIS out of Rojava, and so they're taking back some of their key towns and cities. They're having some great success. But their enemy is a very vengeful one, and so what we also saw was massive amounts of looting and trashing. Whether they were Christian churches or Islam mosques, they were, they'd been destroyed. Not just the damage done by fighting, but this real wanton and willful destruction to make these places uninhabitable. And we saw that in town after town. It just seems such a waste and so hard to understand, but clearly it's the method of ISIS, and they've done it very effectively there. Going back there, it was still, it's still quite confronting. The battle still rages, and it's a really long front line. And they're fighting to defend it, they're not giving an inch, so there is some very, very fierce fighting still going on. I guess I'm certainly not battle-hardened, but having gone to the front line with these women before, I had some idea of what to expect. I also had a level of trust with them. You can see by their faces how young these women are.
My 20 is 22.
And desperate to go to the front line to fight for the cause, to fight for their freedom, and to fight against ISIS. So you come across very, very young women who are doing, you know, a grown-up's job, and under their fatigues, under their military fatigues, they've got their, you know, their girly socks. They make sure, you know, they do their hair. They're really very feminine in their own way, but they're absolutely hardened warriors as well. One of the more emotional moments of this story is going to a funeral of 8 martyrs and just seeing the faces on their coffins as they came out. These beautiful, beautiful young women and men. You saw them and you thought, wow, you know, they look like one of the people I interviewed and who I've got to know quite well, and that could have been her. You know, they could be people we know. They're, you know, just young women, young men who you know, are dead for the cause. I mean, it's a very sad mark of the sacrifice that's being made.